Being of Cook Island Māori descent, it was great for me to have the opportunity to be able to connect with my roots and have the opportunity to continue on my learning from both my Cook Island and Māori heritage. And this project was an amazing opportunity to be able to connect with my culture from my Māori side and really draw the passion for architecture and communicate something visually that really showcases our beautiful cultures. So Donna and Alan had approached us to assist them with their architectural build. They had been living on the whenua for a long time, and unsuccessfully throughout the years they were unable to take previous concepts and lift them into the build phase. So we're able to bring an aspect, particularly from the cultural side, and connect something that really resonated with what they were trying to achieve, what the end product was, and this project means a lot to me, and I'm excited for you guys to see the progress and join me on the journey. It's always a special moment being able to head out to Makatu, meeting with Alan on site and seeing all of the special features, the beautiful landscape, looking out towards Tangaroa, the ocean towards the north. In the distance you can see Mawao. Towards the south you can see all the landscape work that Alan and Donna have done over the years, borrowing the landscape from across the road and really building up this natural oasis. Their landscape, as you'll see throughout this project, it's absolutely stunning, and the way that the natural landscape is actually brought in through to the house was a feature that has been thought out from the very beginning.
There was an old cottage which had been relocated from forestry, sitting up in here, and Donna's mum lived in the house behind and her sister over here. So, and this land was owned at one point by Donna's grandfather for many, many years. So the whole area's got a significant history for Donna. We're well and truly ready. We've been ready for a long time for this house.
And I suppose the actual design and what we've kind of come up with together is something that's very reflective of you guys.
So this is interesting, the native bush here, we wanted to retain as much of this as we could, and we've built on it, so it's become quite a haven for the birds and the bees and the butterflies.
Yeah, it's quite magical, like even with all the birds at the moment you can hear the chirping and the singing.
So you come into this area here and look up and you like you're in your own world.
Yeah, it's quite magical, isn't it?
It's quite magical. One of the significant things for Donna in the landscaping was the rocks, and these rocks are sourced locally up in the quarry through at the Becker Te. And we're basically now standing in a stone circle. So there's 7 rocks here. It's got an incredible feel when you come down here and spend time. It is almost timeless. We stepped back to one of our previous iterations here. We came back from Australia, no cottage, so we hired an old caravan, and it really was an old caravan, and a portaloo. So to use that facility at night, we had to step out of the caravan into the cold, but we were blessed with this incredible night sky. Absolutely beautiful. So that, we'd wake each other up and say, you've got to look at the sky. You have to. And of course with Donna's navigational stuff through the Waka and through all the stuff that all the mahi that she's done there between Hawaii and here is the stars, celestial beings, very, very important. So it's a huge significance to Donna and myself. Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's just ever changing.
I just love it.
Yeah, and taking on board that's where throughout the design is each part of every space within the home is significant, and being able to connect with all those elements. From sacred spaces of the bedroom, being able to have view shafts from out to the west, out to Tangaroa and the Moana, and then out to the south, but then also being able to see that along the axial east to west, and being able to stargaze with Matariki there in mind. And then also the living spaces. It's all around being surrounded by the existing context, the vegetation, and being able to hear the birds, feel Tāwhiri Mātea moving through the home, and just being in a retreat effectively. And I think the most important part to me was being able to create something and design something that reflects exactly that, so the architecture actually speaks of culture. And when you view that and when you see that, and people who have the experience to come through and feel the presence of the home, it engages them, it evokes them to ask questions and really talk about and ask these stories, which is from that community aspect was really important.
Yeah. So art features very strongly in our lives. Yeah. And in the art and the culture and the art coming together was really important, and I think that's really been brought out beautifully by this design. It is an art piece in itself.
And also another crucial part of the design, reflecting back on art being a significant interest to you both, whether it's through literature, poetry, through reading, through ko whaiwhai, taniko, your stonework, culture, through everything. That is our place to exhibit it, and what a better place to, when people are welcomed into your beautiful whare, they have that opportunity to immediately just be stricken by it. And so,
be immersed.
And obviously the big part is the po. So as soon as we are welcomed in, the po is directly in front of us. Through the grounding strong ties, and emerging up towards our celestial realms, and being able to reflect, from externally, from internally, the different corridors that actually allows us and you guys to share is going to be a real special,
powerful.
Yeah, powerful.
This process has been really important to us in that, recognising you as an artist, recognising clearly Jason as an artist. This is a really exciting project to be able to let go myself and trust other people's artistic vision. But I have complete faith in this process and the participants. This is going to be one hellishly exciting work.
Myself, Braden, Donna and Alan, we were all given the task to collect a Māori emblem, somewhere of significance for each of us, and what we were doing was placing that Māori that connected us to Te Pou Tukumanua. So for Donna and Alan, they had several taonga that they have collected over their time, taonga that connected their Te Waipounamu connections. So the cleansing of these Māori, really important to be able to remove any negative energies or influences, so that the Māori that we're instilling into the home is pure. It also takes away the transition from tapu to a noa, so something that of sacredness to a position of neutral. That way, for the four of us, what we're bringing into the home is neutral.
Ko te pū, ko te more, ko te wē, ko te aka, te rea, te wao, te kukune, te whē, ko te kore, ko te pō, nei au, te hapai nei, te tiri nei, te paupau nei, whakaoho ki te manawa Māori ora. And now we're going to have a home, thanks to these two.
It's all very exciting.
So there was real significance around Te Pou Tukumanua being welcomed onto the whenua. So the process that we followed was along the natural protocols or tikanga of our Māori culture, and so the way in which we did that meant to say that Te Pou Tukumanua, we identified him as being an entity. Now, he was a living being, and through the process from welcoming him on site to raising him was for us to say that we acknowledge you and we recognise you as an entity and a being, and therefore instilling that mana and also soul into the whare. For him, it was around What he does is anchors the whenua and the whare as one, offering two strands of significance and protection being one, the other being creativity. So tying back into the design brief and how we were led to such a deep and meaningful concept in design.
When this call comes, by addressing the po, we're actually standing as one, as though we were the other po. Kei te pai? So with all of our taonga, once we give them a name, we give them an identity. When they have an identity, then they have an attribute, and the attribute is the attribute of a person.
Whakarongo, whakarongo, whakarongo mai rā e.
Tātou ki a tātou i rungi i tēnei te kaupapa, te whakatongia o te rākau, ana te pau aroha, te pau manaki, pēnā i tāhua, kua tai ki tēnei te
Ko papa tuanaka, tēnā koe, tāne mahuta, te mātua o te pau, te korowai o papa tuanaka, tēnā koe tangaroa, te moana nā wai, tēnā koe tāwhiri mātea, te hau nā hau, tēnā koe hani ahuane, te awawa, te kauairunga, te kauairaro.
Ana i te pua no te ata hāpara, mōhio ai pua no te rā. I te ahua tēnā te matahua riki i rungi i te pai moana, tēnā te pai moana e kōkiri i waingi a tātou i tēnei wai i rungi i te pau.
Kei taku waipu. Thanks, everything. Oh my God. Tangata, kei taku wairere. My baby.
Beautiful, eh?
Let's feed these people. Ki tō wai waia, ki tōku rere hua, o hina tore, kauea te aroha e.
So it was really important for us to carry out the procedures, the raising of Te Pou Tukumanua and the karakia and naming of Te Pou Tukumanua in one cycle of light. We raised him in the time of the sunset, and then also in the naming of Te Pou Tukumanua, it was made sure that following sunrise we were all there gathered and followed up through the proceedings and followed the right tikanga through the naming of Te Pou Tukumanua. We learnt of the significance of the rewarewa tree and its association to the baskets of knowledge, and a real deeper connection to Donna, and how that tree now becomes a reference and a marker, so that when the season passes, seeing that tree blossom, and when those tui are feeding, it's as if to say that the po is also experiencing that same moment.
That is a toka bought from Birdlings Flat, from Te Waipounamu. So therefore, because Te Waipounamu does not see Matariki as we do, because it's on the eastern horizon and further north, they see Matariki as it climbs into the sky as per normal. But because they do not see Matariki at the time we see Matariki, they take puanga. Yesterday we did a karakia that said, let me hear the thunder of the waves so that I can have that sea spray upon my skin. So this morning we have got the tumble of the waves, and we're a little distance to catch the rehutai of those waves, but there is that haruru maiana, te moana. But see this tree in front of us here, this is rewarewa, that's the rewarewa. And when you hear about the baskets of knowledge, in the mythology, the rewa is divine to the baskets of knowledge. Is the pou and the rako there are one. So when that blossoms and the tui are feeding on the nectar of those trees there, that's the reo of the pou. So kia ora e te tuahine huatu ki a koe.
Nau mai te pou, he pou whakawhiti, kei konei e tū ana, te pou toko manawa o te whare, nā whetu o te tau, whakarongo mai, hara mai, ko au te pou, ko te pou, ko au, tauringa tū, tauringa pai, whakatau mai rā e.
Āchi hei mauri ora. Tēnā tātou, miha tika koutou ko te āhuatanga o koutou tūnga i runga i te pou, hei whaka iti te tūnga i tēnei ao. Ko te mea nui, ko te korowai a ihoa i rungi a mātou pērā i te korowai a ngā whetū ana a te ikaroa hoki. Koe nā te ahua a koutou tainga, tēnā koutou, te pou toko manua, te pou toko mana ki waenga, ara te pou tuahu ki mua, ara te pou ōrongo ki muri. Koe nā te ahua o te pou. The most important thing to us though is, as we look at this post, see it more than the exotic Pinus radiata that it is. Essentially, that is neither here nor there, because we have invested this rako with the very same wairua that is invested in that rako out there by the creation. If you want to come forward and touch the pou to imbue that whakaaro or that thought that you have, then so be it. Kia ora. Mātua. Nora gives more protection than anybody else in our whakaaro. So when a house is opened, a wharenui is carved and opened, the first ones to walk across the lintel is the puhi, because there is no danger with them, there is no threat, there is just the puhi. You had a hand in this. Not only did you put your hand on it, you had a special role. If you weren't here, we wouldn't have been as comfortable as we are with you being here. Waira e taurima, te marae ki waho nei, mā te tika, mā te pono, me te aroha e.
Alan and I, we had met on Mowal, another place of significance for both Alan and Donna, and it was also a place where we're able to connect with Papatūānuku and look towards the reference markers that were referenced on the two special occasions, both in the morning and the evenings. And so for us to stand there, feel the power and feel the presence of the gentle winds blowing on us, and being able to look out towards Tuhua in the distance and Motiti, and then also back onto Makatu. Being able to do that and draw inspiration and feel the presence of Papatūānuku with the Pūtakawa tree, you know, the living life force of Mowal. It was really cool to be able to talk through the project with Alan in such a significant place. It's a pretty magical stage that we're at the moment, and the project has progressed really well, and in terms of going back to Te Pou Tukumanua, the essence and the power that he's brought to the project has certainly been present. So I suppose from the last few months, what's the feelings been like for both you and Donna?
It's been a profoundly powerful experience for both of us. I'd say particularly for Donna, but also for myself. And I think, you know, there is now a living being anchored within the whenua. The whenua is always alive, but now it's got this incredible manifestation in the Po.
And how do you feel the experience for everyone who's been working on the site, and what's the feeling amongst all the sub-trades who have been part of it?
It's really interesting because I'm away for a week or more, and then I come back on site and I go around and ask each of the builders or any of the subcontractors that are on, how they're going and how do they feel about the project, and they're all extremely connected to the project. And one thing that Donna and I were discussing on the weekend actually was the respect that people have given to the Po. It hasn't been bumped, damaged. You've got concreters working around it. You've got builders, timber, stuff being carried in and out, and it seems to emit it does emit its own energy in that protective field. But given with that, everyone appears very connected with it, and draws from the energy of it. Yeah, it's a happy project. Yeah.
Yes, I suppose a big part of that is those 2 days that we spent welcoming Te Pou Tukumanawa to the whenua, and the way that we carried that out in between the setting of the sun and the rising of the sun. It really acknowledged Te Pou Tukumanawa on his arrival, that he was to be a living person, a being, an entity, and I suppose that really supports your experiences and everyone else's experiences, that it's more than just a rako as such. There is something really powerful, meaningful, and significant there.
Absolutely. Those days were special and meaningful and completely necessary to have your entry and exit right. So your karakia, that whole process is profound, and that needs to be right for it to be right. And there was a lot of care and attention paid to that couple of days.
Yeah. From the overall design, from when we first started it, there was an aspect of community and being able to have those connections. And so with Te Pou Tukumanawa, we observed that from those 2 days where people who aren't so familiar with the Māori culture, and being able to involve them, and for them to learn a lot and really appreciate the Māori culture from first sight. And so I guess we've seen that throughout the community as well, and their curiosity and wanting to understand what's happening there. And I suppose once the project's finished, there's a lot of people who'd be wanting to view and see and learn a bit more.
Kind of going back to that point you made about the arrival of Te Pou on the whenua, and that gathering of people, it was profoundly important to them. And as you noted, most of those people have very little, and for a few of them, no connection with Māori culture, and so the experience was profound for them, in their understanding of the deeper knowledge and the essence of the Māori culture and the deeper knowledge of all things. So that was profoundly important to that group of people. Also, the locals from Makitu that pass us by or have stopped us wherever we are, could be at the supermarket or wherever. Oh, you've got that place with the Po. Yep, yeah. How come you've got a Po in the middle of your house? And so we describe the value and the meaning for us, and generally that whole experience has been so incredibly positive that we've got people inviting themselves to the opening because they want to see what it looks like. They want to feel it. So the locals already feel it. For them, a positive description or a positive entity coming into Makitu and being part of it is very powerful. Yeah. A very positive experience.
And that's brings us here today on Mo'o, a special place that is referenced between those 2 days. Being able to be here and look out towards Tuhua in the distance, a significant landmarker, particularly for yourself, the connection between Te Waipounamu and going back to the traditional days where trading occurred between Obsidian and Pounamu in the south. And so being able to have that landmarker connection on those days and the significance around Tuhua, and also that day of being able to instill the Māori inside the hole where Te Poutukumanua was placed. There's also taonga that you guys had brought up from Te Waipounamu as well. And so being here is a significant landmark, and being able to draw upon Papatuanuku in the presence of Tangaroa and Tawhiri Mātia, all significant atua that have been considered as part of the design, and moving forward for us, we're moving on to that next stage of being able to start the design of Te Poutukumanua and the finalising of how we're going to represent the 6 atua that are important, and we can have Donna help us and share from her perspective the significance there. But yeah, it's great to be here, and it's exciting moving on to the next stage where we're being able to really finalise and share the story of Te Poutukumanua in the way that we will see later on in the finishing details.
We count ourselves very fortunate to have found you.
I certainly share that same whakaaro. It's been by far one of my most prized and precious projects. There's a lot of meaning in behind it, and I think for me that reinforces my passion for architecture in the way that I'm able to communicate something that's more than just a home.
For Alan and Donna having such a strong connection to Te Poutukumanua, for him being the heartbeat and the soul of the whare, it was important that we captured his journey from when he was first brought on to the whenua, and following him through the process of everyone being able to connect with him. And within itself, on the entrance through the gallery, before even entering the home, there is this immediate emotion that all people would experience, from Donna and Alan through to their whānau and their friends and all those who have the opportunity to be able to experience this. For me, architecture is about creating spaces that evoke emotion. Te Poutukumanua carries a profound sense of importance felt through the space, whether viewed from inside or outside. This presence, I believe, defines the success of the project.